Good morning, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to episode number 146 in the book of Genesis. Today is going to be about 3 generations of problems. We're going to use Jacob as the center generation, the generation before him, and the generation after him. So the first problem is that we talked about yesterday is in his generation, Rachel dies. Her soul departs. We talked a lot about the soul. And that's the temporary embodiment of the central element that contains one's spirit, your will, your knowledge, your experience, your emotion, your understanding. And it's the part that's not made of dust. It's the part that doesn't go to the ground when you die. It's the part that departs at death to the next world. So our charge was to honor anyone who commits to caring for that part of your life, a spouse, a pastor, a friend. And the charge was to go and to serve somebody, but to care to their soul, a grandchild or a student or somebody at church. Okay, so let me read. This is from Genesis chapter 35, and we're going to talk about these 3 generations. Jacob is going to be referred to as Israel in this passage. Genesis 35:22. When Israel lived in that land, Reuben, his firstborn son, Reuben went in to lay with Bilhah, his father's concubine or wife, and Israel heard about it. Now the sons of Jacob were 12. The sons of Leah, Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Zebulun. The sons of Rachel, Joseph. Pay attention to that. We're going to come back to Joseph. And Benjamin. The sons of Bilhah, the one that got slept with, Rachel's servant, Dan and Naphtali. And the sons of Zilpah, Leah's servant, Gad and Asher. These were the sons of Jacob who were born to him in Paddan Aram. And Jacob came to his father Isaac at Mamre, or Kiriath Arba, that is Hebron, where Abraham, the generation even before this, and Isaac sojourned. Now the days of Isaac were 180 years, and Isaac breathed his last, and he died and was gathered to his people, old and full of days. And his sons, Esau and Jacob, buried him. So the first thing that happens in today's story is that Isaac dies. So his wife dies. His son also causes some trouble because he sleeps with his wife, and everybody knows about it. So the other thing that happens is after his father dies, his previous murderous brother, Esau, comes to town to help bury him. So there's a lot to mourn here. So Isaac is 180 years old. He's gathered to his people. He's old. He's full of days. And both the sons, Jacob or Israel and Esau, go to bury him. So it's always grievous to lose your father. But let's talk about Reuben. So Reuben is the firstborn in that next generation after Jacob. He's the eldest, and he sleeps with his stepmother. So Jacob's son, Reuben, sleeps with one of Jacob's wives, of which he has 4. And it becomes not a secret, and Jacob hears about it. So this can be seen either as an authority play. It might challenge him as father and patriarch and leader. So Reuben doesn't sleep with his own mother, which would also be bad, but he sleeps with his stepmother, which is pretty bad. Now, functionally, I'm sure Reuben thought it was going to turn out great, or wasn't thinking much about it at all, but he gets generationally demoted after this. So the sons of Reuben, so the next generation to come, are going to get some sort of an inheritance. So in 1 Chronicles 5:1-2, it says, the sons of Reuben, the firstborn of Israel, for he was the firstborn, so he's supposed to get a double portion. But because he defiled his father's couch, his birthright was given to the sons of Joseph, the son of Israel, so that he could not be enrolled as the oldest son. Though Judah became strong among his brothers and chief came from him, yet the birthright belonged to Joseph. So this elevates the children of Joseph, which are Manasseh and Ephraim, to kind of like son status. So when the promised land was divided up, Joseph receives 1/6 of a double portion rather than the 1/12 and his children. So Joseph kind of turns into a proxy firstborn because of this act of sin. So let's do a take-home point here. So clearly there are consequences of sleeping with people that aren't your spouse, and no one is immune to those consequences. I think that Reuben probably rues the day when this happened because he loses his birthright because of this. So I think one of the big points is every single human is not exempt from the temptation in the sexual realm, but no one is beyond asking the Lord for particular and specific help in this area. So why does the Lord give every single one of us a zipper to do well with? Well, I think it is to help draw us into himself rather than using sexual temptation to draw us away from himself. So perhaps it is to be used to push us in dependence to the arms of the Father. Lord, help me do this well. The verse that I'd like to leave you with, and if this is an area that you struggle with, I would memorize this verse. It's from 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13. Therefore, let anyone who thinks he stands, it's spoken in the context of sexual temptation, by the way. Therefore, let anyone who thinks he stands take heed lest he fall. No temptation has overtaken you that is not common to man. God is faithful, and he will not let you be tempted beyond your ability, but with the temptation, he will also provide a way of escape that you may be able to endure it. That's it. So we're not unique if we're tempted in any area, but in the context of this, let's talk about sexual temptation. So we're not unique in being tempted. We're not the first. And we are, however, at risk. And I think Reuben was at risk and fell to that temptation. You are not tempted beyond your ability if. And the two things in the passage that are key are relying on God, trusting in the Lord. The second thing is to use that provision, and somewhere in that temptation, in every temptation you face, there is an escape hatch. There is a way out. God has provided a way of escape for every single temptation. Now, Reuben should have taken that. So my encouragement to you is in this difficult area, use the Lord's provision, use his model, use his way of escape. The passage tells us is that Reuben and you can do this area right. Thanks for listening.